welcome everybody, and welcome to the stream. We're ready for some action, and Wall Street certainly are sneaky. Has anyone been checking that dollar index? Dollar index ran through just before, created a little bit of a stir in the markets, and then it's pulled back slightly. So, yeah, it's pretty ferocious out there right now, guys. We've got a new member coming in, Jana Lou. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Big clap for you and members of the community. I do appreciate your support. So, guys, we're in a market that clearly has no idea what it wants to do. How do we trade such a market? Well, the good news is we have zones that we can start to look at. And of course, there's potential technicals that we have here for the Nasdaq. I've got it priced up here. I think this is pretty solid. We're drawing between the closure points on the 2-hour chart. We could also use the 1-hour chart, probably even better time frame. Now, you might ask, why do we use a 1-hour time frame versus a 2-hour time frame? It's really all about the fact that everyone sees the 1 hour. Everybody, every chart, everyone always sees the exact same thing. You've got to think about this when it comes to trading. The good news in stock markets is if you're using charts, let's say it's open for a certain period of time of the day, you should be using charts that are going to be very similar. So like a 2-hour will be like 2 hour, 2 hour, 2 hour. All the blocks of time of the opening of the session makes sense. 1 hour, even better. And this is where we're at. We're stuck between the zones of 14,935 on the futures and 14,761. Before we get started and we go through our normal indices into crypto, into commodities, and then get back into stocks, I want to ask you, the community, what's going to happen today? Are we going bullish? Are we going bearish? Community, tell me right now. And also a big welcome to any first-time viewers. We hope you enjoy the stream. We always come daily with the pre-market, but next week it'll actually be the close of market. So things will be a little bit different, I guess you would say. Look at that Nasdaq though. I love the channel. It's stuck in the middle of the range right now. What a great level. Okay, Shizzy Wiznut says bear trap. Christopher Weltner says bullish. Okay. Gerhard Buller says, hey, Tom, can you please have a look at the euro dollar? Yeah, we might have a look at the Forex again today. Forex has been very good. Had an amazing trade on it yesterday. I went crazy. But yeah, today it's still looking all right. When did the close stream start? Next Monday. Obviously, subscribe on YouTube and you will get the alert. It'll pend. I'll post in the Discord community and also on Twitter as well. So follow FX Evolution on Twitter. I don't use it a huge amount, but I'm going to get back into using it over the next couple of weeks. DXY overbought on daily candles. It can stay overbought for a while, though. Just remember that. So it looks like people are in the middle. In fact, if we did a poll, which I could do now, let's do a poll. Straw poll. This is a very interesting day here. Are you, let me do this, bullish or bearish today? Big bull or big bear? You're not allowed to not be either of those. You have to be either big bull or big bear. Apologies, but an unexpected error occurred. This is our fault. Well, straw poll sucks. Come on now. Okay, well, they don't want us to be able to create a poll, guys. I brought it on. Look. Useless. Useless website. There we go. No poll. We'll have to go your split in the middle. But we do have a beautiful trap here between the two key levels on the futures market. Let's take a look at the NDX because I always want to make sure that we try as much as possible to use the real market levels. So we've got 14,920 as the high here and 14,750. Go back over the US 100 for a second. 750, okay. And NDX, the real market. All right, so I would be using 14,750 and watching both the 920 and the 935 because that was the futures high. And I think what you're really looking for is it to get close above the daily, the 1 hour 20 exponential moving average. So let's say we see this today. Some people will be going bullish here. Close above the 20. Gets out of the range. I think it's very fair to be bullish at that point. You're bullish into, of course, here, 15,100. Potentially you could scale off there. Look at the 15.2 from a technical level. That would be the bull case. The bear case, Close underneath here. Woo! Let's go. Down, bears. The bears are eating the salmon if it gets under 14,750. And that's a serious crack too. We talked about how important this zone is for it to hold up. I'm feeling the bear boots coming on to our favorite big giant trend line should it close underneath 14.8 today. 14.8, 14.8, 14.8. We've got Nasty Papa Pal coming out. He's going to be coming out. He's bringing all of his tools. He's bringing the toolbox. He's not going to use much of it. He'll say he will, but he's not going to use much of it. But he's going to come out and shock the markets with basically saying the same thing, rinse and repeat, as he always does. There are other scenarios for bearish opportunities here in the markets. I mean, some people have been talking about the head and shoulders type of concept and that pushing down further. My thought process always with markets, guys, has been we usually see less. If you're taking a bearish type of pattern, and it's fair enough, I guess, if you draw this, you could. You don't ever want to think that's actually going to complete. It's unlikely that a bearish pattern will complete in the markets when it comes to head and shoulders. Now, if you're talking about inverse head and shoulders, much, much more likely it will go up. And the reason why is, of course, markets are not only optimistic, but they also are semi-rigged towards the buy side, yeah? Statistically, if you bought every single day throughout time, you would make more money than the person going bearish. Are you going to agree with me, chat? Is that a yes or no? I hope that you all answer correctly. Yes or no? What do you think? Sabrina says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sabrina, and everyone else out there. The toolbox. That's right. The toolbox is coming. Roku, Tom, almost $200 less than it was at the 491 high. Yeah. Ooh, Roku is a gnarly chart. We might look at that a little bit later. So Nasdaq, I love the support. It's a marginal close below the 14.8 yesterday. It closed at the 14.750. We're going to open at 14.820, right in the middle of the range, it looks like at this stage. Just under an hour till the open. I'll be looking for closures underneath here, then 14.5, then, of course, our glorious trend line. And I would be surprised if Wall Street doesn't have a crack at this level. If we get underneath the trend line and it actually closes underneath there, wow. That will be unexpected. I will not expect that, especially if it gets underneath here. Anything underneath here is very unexpected. That's starting to talk about, okay, how big is this correction going to be again? Is it a normal correction or is it a little bit bigger? I would think that the bottom of this trend line makes perfect sense should we go bearish. So we've got bull and bear cases. You all know why. Stairs up, elevator down. Yes. Yeah, everyone's got yes. Yes, yes, yes. Of course. You've got to be a bull optimist most of the times. The bears only come out of hibernation a few months of the year. It literally makes sense. Let's talk about the US 500. Rejection. Currently, we've got that 4,400 resistance. I haven't even moved these charts from yesterday. They're exactly the same. This is exactly the point that we expected the bulls to get it back to 4,400, the bears to come back in and sell off. You can go watch yesterday's video if you don't think we're telling the truth, because you can go check that out. But yeah, it's just kind of chilling in the range. It's very similar to the Nasdaq. 38.2 fib of the pullback now hit. And yeah, we're looking for a close underneath 43.50. 43.50 into 4,300, 4,300 into 40. Probably 200, but maybe 250 as well. Every 50 points on the S&P, I would be nimble, I would be fast, I would have a plan. That's the concept that we're talking about in the markets. And if you've been nimble and been fast in index trading and stock trading recently, you will have been doing better than the investor at this stage, because I'm sure most of you have been reading some of these charts. Look at this. Fantastic closure above. If you're not thinking about being a big bull here, then I don't know what you're doing when you're reading your charts. Some people will say, but Tom, it's kind of similar to here. Why am I a big bull here? The main reason, 4,400 plus the real market isn't open. This is the fake market futures. Fake market futures. Real market matters. Fake market is good to trade, but only with real market levels. So that's going to be something we look at. Let's just check out the real market. SPX. There's the range. So this range is actually 43.85. There's the level we drew yesterday from the SPX. And there's the support, 43.50. So similar. Long leg doji, rejection, all these things happening here. One last thing, I guess, when we're talking about indices, before we go over to the chat and do what the community needs us to do, I just want to talk about these put call walls and the representation that we have. So we've got nice amount of calls, of course, at 450. This is for the SPY. We know that's been a huge strike for retail to be buying. There is, for some unknown reason, 420 puts. So 420 puts seem to be open for the Friday session. Strange that that's such a big hit. And then there's a lot of people in this 435 bracket to 440. What's this, like 440, I guess, calls. So these are equal. And what this means is we get like a bit of a shape in here where the optimum pain for Wall Street to finish the contracts on this Friday, obviously one day after the quarter ends, would be somewhere in here. Now, a few people ask me, what about the expiry today? I don't really usually look at them. I probably should have. I could have done that for you guys, but realistically, somewhere in here between these two ranges is where we always expected the week to end. And we kind of hope, well, we kind of think right smack bang in the middle here would be perfect. Like a 430 close for the week would be fantastic for Wall Street. They would make lots of money and they'd be very happy. They'd have smiley faces and crayfish dinners. That's where they want to be, guys. Let's have a look at the DXY. This is what everyone's talking about right now. I do think it has a bit of a problem coming up. 94.83. It's going to be a bit of an issue. 2050 cross coming in, weekly close. Obviously, the Fed, Jerome Powell coming out. Will he smash it round? We'll have to find out. But this is a serious double bottom and has longer term ramifications for Forex traders, gold traders. This is the type of thing that once you break out of these types of patterns, they tend to work out historically a higher percentage of the time from a statistical standpoint. A few people ask me about the euro. Yes, the euro just hit the daily 200. It's super weak. And if you actually look at this, what you'll notice, guys, is that it flagged before and then it started selling off brutally. This is an absolute stop cracker. Check out this. Rejection, no follow through, like we always talk about. Remember, this could be a stock as well. I'll zoom it in. It doesn't matter what it is. Rejection. There's rejections over here. No follow through on any of that action. They get below and they crack the stop losses. And now it's come back up to test previous support as resistance. It's the exact same thing as a stock. You know, price action is price action is price action. If you learn the right way, the only difference is this has absolutely no fair value. And stocks, of course, are optimistic over long-term blue chip bullish in intentions. If you were to say to me, what would you do in stocks? I would say you'd be better off buying than selling because it's statistically more likely you'll be correct. And of course, then you say, which stocks would you buy? And I'll say, well, I can't tell you that. But what I can say, because that would be some kind of advice, but what I can say is that quality wins out. So if you go and trade like penny stocks, you'll often burn your account up. And I'm sure there's a few people in the community that can tell us that. You know, they can say, oh, we've been burnt, unfortunately. Christopher Weltmer says, do you have any videos on technical analysis? Man, we wrote a whole course on technical analysis, bro. Jump over, links in the description below, fxevolution.com. We've got the ultimate trading masterclass. Man, that thing, it could be what you've been asking for. Absolutely. So that's for you, Christopher Weltmer. I have a question here. Thank you very much to the mod for sending that through. We've got Rav saying, is there a lightning bolt on BTC forming on the 4 hour? Yes, I assume it's on this one, and therefore it's on the 4 hour. Little double bottom today. I went on TV and had a bit of a chat about this. And yeah, I like that. I like the way it's trading here. It's obviously pulled back, 2 rejections, need that new high. And you are correct. That is a lightning bolt. It's already actually happened, though, on the 2 hour. And therefore, it's already happened on the 4 hour as well. Remember, the lightning bolt is a trough, a peak, a higher trough, and a higher peak. Bang, bang, bang. What you're really looking for here, though, is this base formation on crypto right now, then the pullback to the conservative entry. It's leaning towards that 45,000. Remember, you take a double bottom. What you're doing is you're taking the distance. You're trying to proof that. It proofs to these highs. And ideally, you get through 45 because we know this market's trapped. You're trading a channel or a pattern within a pattern. The bigger pattern's the channel, the smaller pattern's the double bottom at the bottom. Very good. Jack Cope says, great course, learnt a lot, starting options soon. Cool, Jack. That's awesome, man. That's good. Great TA course, says Samsung. Appreciate it, Samsung. I've got a few. Actually, you found a decent one before. What's the credibility, Chan? What are we talking about? I assume you're talking about the Fed. BTC repairing? Yes, correct. Ethereum repairing? Yes, correct. Super good looking charts. If the market tanked, the only problem is it often does bring down sentiment, and that can ruin your good charting here. You've got to remember you are in the larger channel. So if the market does tend to tank, it might take down the old crypto still. But from just a crypto standpoint, the sentiment is good. The double bottoms are good on Ethereum and Bitcoin. I like the Ethereum chart more than Bitcoin chart right now. 3180 or whatever it is, 75. Key resistance, I just would go with 3200 plus crack being very important. And then if it gets through there, guess what? 3600 incoming. Fantastic. A bit of smiley face on my dial as well. I'll be very, very happy. I thought this level should hold, and I'm pretty happy with it. I like it a lot. ADA, weaker. See how Ethereum and Bitcoin have already created the double bottoms and have moved through. This coin, however, is a nyeh. I'm not saying ADA is bad. I'm just saying it's a nyeh currently. There's the repair line. All these downward trend lines. Look, resistance, resistance, resistance. It's the same thing we talk about, the same principles we apply in stocks. You're just putting them into crypto. Lou says the best course available. We put some time into it, Lou, so thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. KSM, let's take a look at this one. KSM, this is looking weaker as well. It's weird. It's kind of just consolidating, doing not much. If you notice the daily, it just keeps kind of bouncing, then rejecting, then bouncing, then rejecting. So you know you get past here, oh man, it's coiled to go crazy. Because look at all the stop losses be hitting. That's a sell. That's a sell. That's a sell. There's probably some seller here. And then you get past and you go, woohoo, free. You're free again. That'd be awesome. ADA is a twist round. Is a twist this round, says Ed Al. Yeah, it's not the best. Not the best. So US 100, US 500, both stuck in zones. We'll go back over and look at them. IWM is technically at support. It closed at 220. If people pick that up into the close, I totally don't blame you. We've talked about buying key supports into the close. The tendency for a market to recover during the futures is pretty strong. So even when you saw those, maybe the pandemic was a little bit different. It kept falling through zones, but that's a serious crisis. When you're talking about a lesser crisis and a lesser really fearful market, it tends to come down to levels, close around those zones, recover into the open, create the dip buying experience for the retail trader to get in. Remember, they want you to come in. They're like, come on, trickle in, buy the options. We'll send it up, keep buying. And the way you can always tell that is because when you look at some of the stocks traded heavily by retail, you'll be able to see a huge amount of calls just randomly appear on that stock. For example, let's have a look at Apple here. Look at all the calls that just suddenly appeared every day this week. Now, where is Apple? Well, it's been kind of sitting around that 142. But look where all the calls are. Some poor sap put in a 180 call. They're going to lose. That's poor person that bought the 180 call. But there's all these calls that have been put in because in the morning we've seen rallies followed by dumps on Apple. Rallies followed by dumps on Apple. And that's created people buying options for the Friday. Remember, the amount of people in options right now is equal to the dot-com bubble. It's actually higher. It's never been as high as it is. Retail has never been in options as much as it is right now. which creates the manipulation. All right, let's read some of these. KSM is ADA's testnet. ADA's? You mean dots, isn't it? Dot, dot, dot. Tether is number 3 coin now. ADA dropped to number 4. That's terrifying. Mate, Tesla to 800 next weekend, and I'll buy you a crayfish dinner, says Giovanni. Fair enough, man. Didn't it kind of already almost hit 800? Don't you want like 840 for a crayfish dinner, Giovanni? Sherlock Holmes says, in the options course, are you talking about selling puts? Yes, we talk about everything. We talk about our spread methods, our credit methods. It's all in there. We're releasing it over time. You can go check it out and have a look on the website. It'll probably give you a whole bunch of stuff there to give you some information. I've got puts on Apple, says Conscious Investing. Okay. Durgesh Sakharande, $3. Tom, please look at RF. I can't get the options flow. Probably a smaller stock, is it? Oh, no, it's pretty big, 20 billion. Some may not have a huge amount of options trade on them, but this is a solid setup, sir. You've done well. I think that's pretty good consistency. You've gotten through a key resistance recently. It's not fantastical, but it's not bad. Next steps, you'll be looking for a little bit of weakness here. You'd probably already consider your scaling opportunities from your own methods. And then if it does come back down to the previous resistance, then of course this should act as support. The moving average on some time frame should be catching up with it. But yeah, it's come out of a holding pattern. Recently, volume's been increased, which is a good sign. And if you think about the next level that makes most sense, it's probably going to be somewhere around here. So around that 23. Let's take a look at the weekly closes. That's going to be worthwhile. 50 exponential moving average. Yeah. Some people would have seen this as a weak kind of looking pattern like that. So again, this is a pretty serious break. It blows that pattern up. And overall looks okay. Yeah, not bad. Targets into the high or even descaling as it goes up. Cindy MC says, smash that like button for Tom every day. He deserves it. Thanks very much, Cindy. Appreciate that. Very good. All right, let's do Tesla. 781. Tesla's still pretty strong. Go to the daily charts. Long leg doji, as we like to say. So basically, the long leg doji shows its indecision. We've got 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, basically of inside bars to a degree here. They're not really doing anything. This particular one will be the Tala. I think that if we get back above close here, even though if you're not closing above 800, once you close above indecision like this, regardless of whether it's above 800 or not, you generally tend to break higher. That's a good technical signal. If you close underneath this point, I mean, yeah, I still think 762, 760 is support for it. But that would be not as ideal. I mean, that would be obviously more, okay, let's go back to the 20, see if we can buy off that 20 like last time. Bullish very bullish if it closes above here. Very bullish. I've been talking about that 880 concept for a couple of days now. I still think it's pretty strong. You can see here that the indecision, you get that follow through, the hype becomes real and people go FOMOing all over the place. I think you should really consider that 880 level. It's not only a lucky number in China and other Asian countries, but it's also a very heavy resistance. And if you're thinking you missed out on Tesla, there's a good chance it eventually comes back to your trend line and maybe even goes lower. So just remember the big long trend line, the indecision candles, and if you're thinking where's that follow through going to be, one of the closes, if it gets above, really could be bullish here. Today, hard to tell. Stuck in the middle of the range, just like the indices. We're waiting for that news coming out after. US 10-year, currently on resistance, waiting the Papa Powell. This will be the signal that the Nasdaq wants to dive. Basically, if Papa Powell pisses off the market and then the market ends up going resistance and it goes through here, then we will most likely see that weakness in the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq will drop below that 14.8, 14.750. We get a closure underneath, and that sends spiraling sells over the next couple of days, hopefully to our Christmas trend line. That would be fantastic. John Glacy, $5. Hi, Tom. Started trading this year. Cool, man. Welcome. Slightly down, but learning. That's all right. Just don't lose too much in your learning experience. The point is that most people tend to have a win, a big win. I want someone in the chat to tell us about this. I had a big win. So you generally start, you have like a massive win and you get hooked and then you lose it. And then you lose a little bit more. And then you realize you're a stupid person and why you shouldn't have never been a winner in the first place. And then you start to put it together. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time. Your TA is the best and most non-biased on YouTube. No worries, man. Thank you. TA on GRE, please. Absolutely. We'll do that in a second. So we still have the recovery. We're still thinking bullish here on the US 10-year. Long leg doji, but more of just a smaller, it's not really a doji. It's more of just a slight indecision candle at the resistance. We close above this resistance. Let's say Papa Powell pushes us through. We've got a good chance of going towards the 1.7 then. And if we go to the 1.7, what's going to happen in the NASDAQ? Down, at least temporarily. I don't care what other people say about, oh, inflation and it kills the NASDAQ and blah, blah. Yeah, if inflation gets out of control, sure. But 1.7 or a 2, it's just an opportunity to me anyway. That's the way I see it. What do you think? Do you reckon it's an opportunity? I tend to think so. So that will move depending on the Papa Powell. Now, what is this thing? GRE? Is GRE a coin? Or is it actually this thing? I mean, it's new. I don't know if I would TA something so new. Don't TA new things. You don't. The idea of TA is you're meant to be learning from the left-hand side. You want huge amounts of volume. You want a lot of, obviously, trade to go through. Technical things happen because other people are doing them. Algorithms are happening. Key psychologicals. The smaller the stock or the less data that you have on a stock, the less likely it's going to be technical, and you need to understand that. It's like if you're trading a penny stock, you might only use key psychological levels and moving averages. That's it. Whereas if you're trading Apple, you're going to be looking for double bottoms. You're going to be looking at the options flow. You're going to be bringing a lot more information together on it. So this, if it is what it is, I can't even tell you what it's going to do next. Because I'd just be completely guessing. I mean, from this chart, it looks like it's kind of listed recently, and I don't like it. That's my thoughts. Brett C says, Tom, what broker do you use for options on the ASX? At the moment, we use NAB. But I don't really, I think that they only limit, the problem is NAB, it's only one side that you can use. So yeah, there's others that you can get a little bit more flexibility with. It really depends what kind of money you're looking at trading as well. You got to be in different areas for different things. What you probably won't want to do though is go with really expensive brokerages, because when you have an expensive brokerage, the biggest issue you're going to have there is that especially if you're trading smaller options, the flat fee can hurt you. In America, it's quite cheap. We don't use a traditional style of feed. You need a bit more money to be able to get into it. PLTR, we'll do it soon. GRE was SPRT. Oh, okay. I don't know these things, guys. I don't know what GRE is or SPRT. I mean, how can it be this thing? What? This thing with no data turned into something else with no data. I'm confused by this stock. Therefore, I don't know. Send me a Discord if you'd like to, sir, and I'll try it. It's a Bitcoin miner. Oh, well, just look at Bitcoin. All that matters, if it's a Bitcoin miner, then all you care about is what Bitcoin price is doing, and don't ignore this thing. You need to understand the fundamentals of it and whether it's successful or not, but really it'll just move with Bitcoin. I don't know. That's not for TA. mRNA, let's do it. Moderna. We bounced and then sold back off into our little support line. It still looks relatively sick. I know it's up here, 1.11%. I don't really like this chart. I like the closure to the, like maybe the short was okay. I like the bulls here when you're taking it back into the high. Yeah. Not the best. I feel like the sunny days are over. I've talked about how I think it's going to the 20. Even with good news, I feel like it could go there. So, yes, that will be the next level that I would look for. It's not a great chart. An 11.5 split into grey sounds like a nightmare. That's why you trade high quality stocks, guys. That other one sounds like a nightmare. Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. Take a look at the VIX. VIX is down, then up, then down. Nothing much to report. I mean, once it's above 20, of course, you expect volatility. But as we know, the VIX pumps and it dumps. So I wouldn't trade the VIX personally at this stage. It's too difficult. But we can keep watching it. And if it ever does get back over 28, then of course we know something serious is really afoot, because that's very rare. Very rare. We've got a question here from Aaron. It says, do you use EMA because it's better for short-term trades or because it gives more weight to recent prices? Well, you pretty much answered it there. I use it because it gives more weight to recent prices, and therefore it is better for being nimble and being quick. That's correct. It's mostly about the more recent prices, though. When you're using a shorter time frame moving average, you should generally be using it on weighting closer. EMA is weighting on the last couple of candles, whereas SMA weights equally. We know markets are fast, they are quick. Therefore, we need to be fast and quick. So, yes, that is the way. TLT, the bonds still look relatively weak. I'm not re-looking at these bonds for quite some time. I want them either at 140 alert, 140.50, or to get back above 146, and we'll take a look. US 10-year is the new chart that we go to. Gold, for gold bugs, I don't really feel like looking too much at this chart at the moment either. It looks kind of sick. I'm going to come back in November into December. I'll be making tons of videos through that point because I have a feeling that gold might come good, but it's not looking too fancy at this stage. Let's move into some stocks. Let's talk about Apple. So we've got Apple. We've got the beautiful trend line here. We love the trend line of Apple. We also love this 142 area. And we know that if Apple closes below the 142, from a technical standpoint, it's pretty damn serious, because when we go in here, what's happening? We've got the peak, we've got the trough, we've got the lower peak and the lower trough. A very serious change of trend at a very serious support, with the big stock that ends up pushing the Nasdaq, ends up pushing the S&P 500. So should the 10-year go crazy today, I would expect Apple to be the first to show us the way. Remember, we always go to Apple, we go to the FANG stocks, and we learn a lot about the Nasdaq from those. Biker Dude said, made money on my AFRM short last night, and Twitter also. Very cool. Very cool. At FX Evolution, can you look at space? Are you kidding me? Is this thing back again? God, it's a trash stock. Trash. Oh, 7.4%. No, retail's back in on the trash stock. Oh, God. Am I going to have to make some random bets with people when it gets back up here and then say it's too early for space again? Everyone always fights me on Virgin Galactic. But you know what I say? We haven't been wrong yet. And I still hate this stock so much. So much hate for this stock. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know why it's up 7%. Don't particularly care. Is there any technical here? Not really. I mean, what are you doing? It's previous support, kind of like a resistance here on the open, 24.15. Needs to do a bit of work for getting some power here. I don't think we'll waste any more time on it. But good luck if you're in it. And I wish you the best, and I hope it goes to $100 for you. That is the best thing. So we got some requests from the private community here. They want me to do net. We love net. Oh, yeah. I still wouldn't buy here, but looks like a falling knife to me. Previous resistance could act as support here. If you like net enough, maybe you're getting a discount that you find attractive. To me, I want it lower, $100. If I was drawing like a little line here across the board, I would pretty much go with draw a rectangle, put the rectangle between this zone, and wake me up when it gets down there. That's the way I feel like with net. And we've got SoFi Technologies. What's that doing? Oh, didn't close above our resistance. Very sad of it. And it's actually on support. Terrible candle. Previous resistance, support. If you like it, it's right around that level that should be tasty for it. But I don't know much about this stock, so up to you. Previous resistance is becoming support though, which is quite good. Then CLNE, Clean Energy Fuels. Not much to say about this. Should have held this zone, 845. And this is why I prefer bigger stocks. They tend not to do this type of stuff as much as smaller stocks do. Previous resistance, you break through, you come back, it tends to hold better. The smaller stocks do not hold so well with the technicals. So yes, it's marginally around support. And then the last one was Nvidia, NVDA. Let's take a look at that. Nvidia actually threw the support yesterday. It's up this morning, but I would tend to think this is another stock that's kind of pointing towards that weakness in the Nasdaq. Down to our trend line possibly here for Nvidia, or even lower. It is worth $500 million. I mean, $500 billion. I always say billion. It is worth a lot. It's a great company, but yeah, that's a weakness candle that I can't ignore. Let me make sure I've just caught up here. Big Dipper, $5. Thank you very much. Tom, what concept / education will be in the afternoon programs versus the pre-market program? I won't be doing the pre-market anymore, man. I can't do it. Not with the time change. Are you leaning towards half hour during both periods? I'm going to not do opens for a few months. Yeah. It's just too late, man. I'm going to have to move to closes. I'm sorry, guys. That's what we got to do. But you know what? Closes is where the fun's at anyway. Closes. So Big Dipper, what we'll be doing is probably half an hour into the close, half an hour after the close. Thank you very much for your support as per usual. Despite being deep into RKLB, I agree with you. RKLB, Rocket Lab. Look at it go. A few weeks ago. The pumpy and then the dumpy. Good luck, sir. Andre Powell, FX Evolution. Hey, Tom, can you have a look at Zillow, US real estate? Yeah, I know Zillow. We look at it regularly. I'm waiting on Zillow. It's just disgusting, unfortunately. I wanted it to get above here. I was waiting patiently for it to get above this 100, but it never did. Another stock showing weakness here. See, a lot of people say, oh, the market's overpriced and stuff, and maybe it is. But a lot of these hyper stocks, which were truly overpriced in many ways, I mean, you got to remember Zillow was $200. The market's repricing fairly decently. It's just putting maybe a little bit too much weight on the FANG stocks. But when you think about it, the FANG stocks deserve to be high. They're smashing money right now. And it doesn't look like anything bad's happening to them. They just keep smashing it. This stock is impossible to pick where the low is going to be right now, sir. I mean, it could be down at $70. Seriously. I mean, yes, you've got the little support here, but you can see the downward trend line. I will not go long on something that looks like that. It's just too risky. Sabrina Klein, $5. Thank you very much, Sabrina. Hey, Tom, been watching you for months. Appreciate it. Learning a lot. Can you please take a look at ARKF for Scott and myself? Sure. ARKF. Fintech Innovation. I like Fintech. Makes sense this is down because, of course, two of the big holdings are getting belted. You don't want to too much use this for TA because it's basically an ETF of a whole bunch of different stocks. You'll just know that it's down because you're going to go look at your squares, which Kathy Wood buys, etc. It is underneath. We've seen it go down here once, which is $48. It's another signal that there is a weakness here in the market. See, while the US 100, while the US 500 have not closed below supports, many of these hyper stocks yesterday did. And this is another one that's gone underneath, and another one that you can start to say, well, if we don't hold 48, because it seems likely we're going to try to go for that, where's our next support? Is it 45? There's nothing, you can't think this is bullish right now. How is that looking bullish? Does that look bullish to you, chat? It just doesn't look it to me. See what the chat thinks. What time is Papa Powell speaking? Papa Powell's coming out 10 a.m. New York time. Fed Chair Powell testifies, and he tells us all about the tools and how he's kind of going to use them. Ocam's Razor says, hey, Tom, the put call charts you display with put call ratio bar line levels, are you generating them via Excel? No, they're just literally PCC in here. So you just type in PCC and you'll get the CBOE put call ratio. Trading View, sir. Links in the description. If you sign up, guys, I get like $3. So remember, if you're thinking of buying a paid Trading View thing, then when you do it, use our link. Come back to the channel, click the little link wherever it is, and you buy me a coffee, and I'll be very happy. I will personally say thank you to you in Discord if you message me. No pass on ARC F. I wanted Square and PayPal, though. This was a good idea, but then this. Yeah. I think that this ARC F, it's a cool concept. I totally believe in it. I believe there is a fintech revolution happening. I was reading a paper about Switzerland and how they were moving years ago ahead of the US. And it's just obvious to me that wallets are going to happen. I mean, I think there's big brains in the community right now. We've got 1,200 big brains out there watching right now that would know, most of you would know, that the big banks either going to have to acquire because they're unlikely to be able to move into this wallet space. I envision a world where we have our wallets on our phones, we pay with the cryptos, we pay with our digital yuan, digital US dollar, digital Australian dollar, whatever it may be. They're all in one place. We buy our little stocks in there. We buy, whatever else we want in there. And effectively, it's like a credit card on your phone, but for everything. Everything is in one place, in one wallet, and you don't have to necessarily have a bazillion different brokers and stuff. It's going to be pretty damn cool. Christopher Weltmer says, I have a tiny brain. That's not necessarily true, Christopher. You got a big brain, sir. Never put yourself down. You're a massive ape. Strong, big-brained ape. All right, let's go back over. So we've done Apple. Let's have a look at Square. Still looks gnarly. I love this stock, guys. And I was so sad when they bought Afterpay because it proved to me that Jack Dorsey didn't think ahead. And you know what? Whatever happened to Tidal? Has that even been implemented yet? Stupid thing. Anyway, I kind of feel like this is coming back down to the 220 vicinity and then the 200. And then we'll talk about how excited I am for it. But this is another hyper stock that looks bearish on the charts. I can't say good things. I haven't said much good things about Square recently because how do you do that? Unfortunately, it's bad. Amazon, it looks bad too. Let's get back down to the 3,200. Google, it looks horrible. Frankly, looks disgusting. At least the weekly 20. It's a big rally. I mean, you see my point, yeah? You go and look at these stocks. I mean, does anyone here see, oh, I love this dip? Is that a tasty dip like the ones we've seen recently? Or is this a hideous sandwich with salmonella in it? J Nibble, CHF 10. Thank you very much, man. Up big this week. That's good, sir. Does Wall Street ever ignore 1 week's options and pay it out? Yes, they do. So they can get it under a level and to cause max pain in the future? Yes, they do. In the weeks or months, do you look at the closest expiration? If you've been watching the videos, Jay Nibble, I've been looking 1 month ahead, and only a few weeks ago I was looking at November to see the differences. So yes, if you're a member of the private community or you have access or you go and get free resource wherever you get it, then yes, you want to look for your put call walls in the week ahead, the third week of every month, obviously the big one. And then you want to also check a few months out and see whether there's a big change in the way that they're positioning, in the way that Wall Street is showing their options. Because remember, the only person really buying longer date is probably me, some people in Wall Street, hedge fund managers. It's not generally retail where the shenanigans begin. So it's a great question there, Jay Nibble, and thank you very much for the CHF 10. Tom, look at the DXY. It broke out. Yeah, I was looking at the DXY before. It was all good. This Google chart, ugh. Let's have a look at end phase. Another one that just, I know it's up pre-market, guys, but it's just not cool looking. Microsoft, even with the buyback, looks kind of uncool. ARK looks super uncool. I guess it's maybe on a support. Beam, uncool. I like the stock, but it's uncool. Edit. Oh my goodness. Edit's almost at my buy zone. Come back to me, Edit. That's the biotext for you. Pumpy and dumpy. CRISPR underneath again. SPLK, very disappointing SPLK. It looks like it's going to come to 131. A lot of these stocks, CRM, well, that's been much better to me. TDOC, horrible. Oh my God, this stock sucks. I'm sorry, TDOC fans. It sucks. How is it down so much? I am very glad I never held this thing. It's just so stupid. It keeps dropping. And the price action is so gnarly all the time. Look at the trend line down and then breaks through. Another hyperstock weakening here. Let's take a look at Barber. I mean, Barber's back down another 3%, down at 0.84. Been warning people on Barber for a while here. Ever since it did bad to us up here, when it had a really cool breakout above our trend line, which was glorious at the time, we cannot get back into it. I mean, this Barber, literally 130. I mean, chat, where's Barber going? How low does this thing go? It's a bear trap, bull trap, whatever trap. I'm glad I scaled into TDOC. I only bought one. That's good, biker dude. That's good. Sabrina Klein says, can you do UMC $2? Thank you very much. We will. We'll do that very soon. Barber to the red moon. We've got 119 coming in, 130, 100. Barber to 130, then Barber delist. Ooh, imagine if that happened. Yeah, that's gnarly. All right, we're 10 minutes off the market open. Let's go through Twillo. Let's go through some of the others. Another hyper stock down and under. You know, you look at all of them. We closed. Oh, the shorters are coming in. You're doing well, guys. If you've been shorting these zones, and I don't really condone shorting that much because I know it's nimble and very fast. You got to be like this in the markets. If you're fast, then it's all good. But if you're slow, you get belted. But you look at all these stocks here, pins as well. They're all underneath the supports. And any rally, you know, even this TAN solar index, I mean, you scroll this solar index in, you get a trend line down here, and you know that the repair is going to take a little while. Roku, some people mentioned that before. Again, another one coming down, possibly support. I guess I can see why people bought Roku if they had a go at it at the close for the open rally, but it still looks very sick. DKNG, where's the Etsy? Even Etsy's going under, and that was a good looking chart. DKNG at support. That one is at support. Airbnb doing much better than the others, which is cool. Intel, I think it's doing better than the others, so that's all that matters to me. Intel. Spot at support if you like it. Netflix, very good. Very good. Netflix has the best TA breakout on it at the moment. and it shows in the price action. We still have the plan here, Netflix. We want your 650 action. I like this chart a lot more. This chart looks hot compared to the other charts. Do you agree, chat? This chat's so much better. So much better. Jason D, $4.99. Doc N. Okay, we'll do this. And we've got PLTR. Where's our PL? Oh, PLTR. No. It's done its stupid PLTR thing to you guys again. This stock, it always punishes the true believers. Got underneath the 20 yesterday. Another weakness looking chart, even with these rallies. I mean, maybe it'll turn around, but it's not the type of thing I look at and go, yes. Chan says Netflix has something brewing. They hired Paul DeBevec away from Google. Oh, yeah. Just acquired a good narrative game studio. I agree. And I think that's a great play. That game studio makes sense to me. Netflix is trying to move ahead. I totally agree with you. UMC, United Microelectric. Let's take a look at the weekly. It's on support. Nice 20 moving average, mostly holding. That's actually a fairly strong candle pattern that happened here. You would have been stuffed around for a while, though. If that had gone bullish, that was a very strong candle pattern. If that had gotten above here, I would have expected it to act a lot more bullish than it ended up doing. It just sat there for ages and then went bullish. Very disappointing on that type of technical. But anyway, this is a weekly. Look, it's on support. In terms of how you get into something like this, let's take a look at the daily. Okay, pretty easy. You could scale in some here, and then you would be looking for a closure above here for all-time highs. Nice little support there. Good resistance at 12, and looking for it to keep going on. Jason D, DOCN. DigitalOcean. I haven't looked at this one in a while. I remember when it listed. We were streaming when it listed. Looks like a double top towards the weakness, actually. Resistance, intervening. I know it's up today, but 2 hours here. That doesn't look too healthy, sir. I wouldn't bet against it, but I don't know if I'd buy it there. Another stock showing weakness, unfortunately. Next big support back down here. About that 60, 65. Uber. Let's take a look at Uber. Flying drones ain't saving this company. Flying drones. I do very much like 43 though. 20, 50 moving average, previous support, and all the moving averages there, and probably a fib pullback as well. We're about 5 minutes off the market open, guys. Thank you very much to the 1,255 people joining us. I do appreciate it, guys. Remember to subscribe if you do enjoy it. And next week, we move to the closes for a little while. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, around this 38.2, 50 fib zone, if you like Uber. Look for the lightning bolt. Look for the turn story. Okay, let's do our breakdown of the two markets. So we'll do this now. And we'll do US 100 to start off with. So effectively, the US 100 and S&P are stuck within a range, guys. They've been trading within that range for the last kind of 24 hours. You can see it here on the futures market, how important this range is. And if we want to dial in on the real levels, we're probably going to use the real market. So we'll use 14,750 for the bears to get control of the market. They close below. We're thinking about that 14.5 zone. And if they close above 14,920, then you're thinking technically to the 15,100 to the 15,200. Remember, the bears are still partially in control of this market until they get smashed out. If you get a 15.4 plus closure, I mean, this whole degradation is over, back to all-time highs. Let's go. This is now the line in the sand between the bulls and the bears fighting it out. But at this stage, trap within this range, get those levels on your charts, start making your own ideas. Obviously, it's up to you to make the right decision. But these are the key levels. Take a look at the US 500. Very similar idea. Coming into the market open, we are trapped within two ranges. We went back to the 38.2 fib, 4,400 on the futures, but the real market, the SPX, is trapped right here. Long leg doji, rejection off 43.85. I still have 4,400 as a key point where the bears kind of lose some control for the day session. I'm sure people will buy into this level here, previous support, and then maybe even the 44.60. And if you get past there, then we're starting to talk bull game again. So remember the trap, closure below, and check this out. This is why you know the market's acting technically. Take the distance, extrapolate it out. What do you know? Right into the support. It means that it's proofing, and proofing, as we know, is important to the markets. It means it's better. Better. Ronald Brown, can you check MDB? Should I buy in? Well, I'm not going to tell you that, but I am going to give you technical levels to look at. Conscious investing, 199 as well. Hyatt, all hotel, airlines looking decent. They certainly are looking a lot better. So we'll do MDB first, and then we'll do Hyatt. 2 minutes off the market open, guys. Remember, Papa Powell is talking today. This stock gapped above. It has found 3 sell levels. I think it will now look to close the gap down. Whether it closes the gap fully, I'm not exactly sure. It could stop here at 427. What's the chat think? I feel like it wants to go down. Chat, community, what are you thinking? This seems like a good technical level. And just like we always do, we draw a little rectangle and we look for that zone. Makes sense considering the gap. Thank you, Ronald Brown, and the community will tell you what they think as well. Thomas Quinn says it's going to the ground. James Gale says full gap close. Yes, gap. Let's take a look at Hyatt. Yeah, much better looking chart than the rest. Let's have a look at Boeing in a second as well. Do we have time? Oh my goodness, we've got to go fast. Yeah, that chart looks a lot better than anything else we've been looking at today, just from a recovery standpoint. Beautiful channel descending. First closure out. Definitely scalers coming in, you would think. Volume's improved. Look at the volume coming through on that small. Wow, there's huge volume there on that one. It wasn't even that big. Wow, someone must have rotated in on that day. Yeah, they look a lot better. Good luck. And it is around the correct level, but you've got to then break through 82, and then you start talking about getting back to 91. Good luck, Conscious. It's all about scaling here in this one. So markets coping open. Let's get our 4-screener up. We've got Tesla, US 100. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding. We open at 14,830. We are trapped within a little bit of a range here on the bigger time frames. We'll go over to the 1 hour so you can see the range. This is the middle point of the range. Papa Powell will come out and chat, and then he will really dictate what's going to go on with the markets. There's the key levels, 14,940 for the futures market, but I would use the NDX as well and pay some attention here. And you're looking between 14,920 and 14,750 on the NAS, and on the S&P upwards of 4,400, I think, but 43.80, whatever it is, 90 from yesterday is kind of a resistance. So be careful inside this range making any big decisions. I think this is really no man's land except for scalpers. If you close either way, you'll see that bigger rally come through. At least that's my belief. Tesla opens at 781, relatively strong. Apple comes in at 0.69. What else do we have? Mostly a little bit of bulls. Nvidia comes in 1.48, back to the previous resistance becoming support level. So there is a little rally here in the morning, but it's early days. Papa Powell, 10 a.m., half an hour from now, Papa Powell will chat and the market will do what it feels like. You can tell the market's preparing because of one chart and one chart only. US 10 years at the resistance. This is exactly the chart you expect the market to be having problems at. QQQ just jumped above its 15-minute 50 at 360.89, says Kevin. It's the Papa Pump. Netflix up over 2%. It's the best looking chart. Looks good. Have we had a look at gold already? We checked it out full, but it's just looks bearish basically. Scott Morgan's so salty on Chewy. I don't blame you, Scott. That sucks, man. Super Chewy. I'm sad that you got into that one at the price. Yeah, Chewy, unfortunately, I'm still going with the 60, 66, 65 for Chewy. So I hope I'm wrong on you, Chewy, and it comes back good. So there's the Nasdaq currently rallying here early. We're up 0.6% now. So we jumped out of the gates. We were about 0.3. We're at 0.6, 20 moving average, 20 exponential, and resistance. We close above. We allow for further rally pumps on the Nasdaq. We hit resistance and sell off, obviously looking below 4 to 750 for the close. Well, then it really is bear territory. US 10-year awaiting the Papa Powell. It seems like they really want to know what he has to say. AMD spiking? Yeah. Christopher Weltner says, nice. I'm up 2.5% of my longs. Cool, man. AMD 2.35%, just above 100. So that hit, if we look at AMD, that stock hit exactly around $100 yesterday. Psychological. So yes, keep looking, guys. Watch these zones, have them up. Understand that you're trapped within a little range right now. So anything you feel good about, still the indices have not made their decision. And once you think about the market that way and you understand the indices are controlling most of the stocks in the market, except for obviously hyper stocks and other things, then when this occurs and it breaks up or below, you tend to see that rally through your favorites, or of course, that big bust through your favorites. So yeah, I would watch Nasdaq. I would watch US 500. Be very, very keen on checking those out. 10-year will be something I'd look at today. And then your favorite stocks are just look for bullish patterns on them because it's all about price elasticity. So if you have a market where it's been going bullish, let's say Netflix, and Netflix comes down through, like, let's say a correction, and the market starts to stabilize, the price elasticity will pull that bullish stock back up, and you will see it time and time again. If a market is bearish, all things will generally go down, but when it starts turning, contrary to what you might believe, it's not the most smash stock that necessarily comes up the most. The one that was already looking really strong tends to really power through. I'll have a quick look at the DXY near to the close. People want me to check it out. It's coming down, they say. Yep. But again, even with the DXY, it's all about the Papa Powell. 10-year, 10-year, 10-year. DXY's had a great run. Remember, the weekly still has to hold above, but I fully expect it to come back down to this level at some point. And this is a big resistance for it. Baba is pumping hard. Better be pumping really hard for you to say that. Let's have a look here. Where are we, Baba? Come on, man. I'm not listening to you again. Where are you? Where are you with your Baba? You liar. Come on, dude. 0.8%? What are we talking about? You looking at the same thing? Ban. Yeah. Definitely ignore NJH. That is a disgusting comment. Barber pumping hard. The thing goes up 0.8%. All right. Catch you, everybody. Have a good day. Unfortunately, Biker Dude is down 26% on Barber, but it happens. Tom got punked. Yeah, that's true. Pumping hard on the brakes. Yeah, pumping hard on the terrible kind of thing. Look at it. It's going towards its resistance, guys. I hope it does. Interesting that the S&P is flat while this is going up. But yeah, it's all about the Powell. Yesterday we were green, then we were red bad. So just remember, things can change. Watch your key levels. Good luck out there. And I wish you the best for the session. We'll see you again tomorrow with the daily update video for whatever Papa Powell has to say. And of course, we'll come at you live for the market open on Friday. That will be our final market open for a few months. Actually, we'll be doing market closes from that point, and I'll make a big announcement about it. So come join us for those sessions. Catch you guys. Bye for now.